Next, we have a really important matter, probably one of the most important matters we face every year, which is the helming and leadership and onboarding of new leadership to this organization. This is the time of year we elect the new president-elect. Whoever is elected has the terrible title of president-elect until October, when they become the president-elect. Each candidate will have 3 minutes for an opening statement and 10 minutes for questions. They'll pick by random order, but in this case, we only have one candidate. That is Governor Brian Tollefson, who is present. I've known Governor Brian Tollefson for 3 years, and I know him really well. Most of you have been working with him quite a long time. I think we also know him for being so very wise as a former judge to usually hold his tongue on most subjects. But the membership at large probably doesn't know him, and this is a great opportunity for Brian Tollefson to introduce himself to the membership at large. And candidate, Governor, and former Judge Brian Tollefson, please be so kind as to present yourself to the Board of Governors for consideration of selection for the 2020-2021 President-elect.
Thank you, President. Majumdar, can everybody hear me, by the way, I hope?
Yep.
Can hear me? Okay. Thank you for introducing me. In the interest of time, I just want to remind everybody that I did submit a letter of application that outlines my experience and what I hope to accomplish as the president. As you know, the president really is supposed to follow the direction of the board, and that's what I intend to do. If the board wants to go in a certain direction, that's what I intend to do. I hope to use some of my years of experience and wisdom to help guide the board through this process. As everybody knows, we're facing incredibly challenging times right now, and they're just getting more challenging day after day after day. And we need to empower our entire membership to hopefully work through these trying times in as much of a unified fashion as we possibly can, knowing that there are, of course, differences of opinion. And I hope to be able to work with all the different differences of opinion and hopefully meld them into a unified message that we can all get behind as a board and as an organization. Other than that, I really don't have anything else that I would like to say. I would be honored and privileged and extremely humbled if I were elected to this position. I will say that it seems to be a family trait of ours in my family and my relatives who have found public service to be a rewarding experience, to be something that should be appreciated as part of the life experience. And I was honored to have family members who were mayors and U.S. representatives and judges, and I've just been following in their path and trying to do the right thing throughout my life. So that's all.
Thank you, Governor Tollefson. I'm going to open up the floor to questions. The first hand I see raised is that of Governor Grabicki, followed by Governor Stevens.
Rajiv, I would move for the election of Brian Tollefson as President-elect.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? I see Governor Stevens' hands raised.
Yes, may I ask my question before we just move
Please,
on?
Governor Stevens.
Okay. Hi, Brian. How you doing?
Good, Alec. How are you doing?
All right. I just wanted to ask you, because I don't want us to overlook that in this moment, our country is dealing with the issue of systemic racism. Not just an issue of Black Lives Matter, not just an issue of police misconduct and lack of redress, but actually the question of systemic racism. And when I look at GR 12, one of the things that, of course, is a concern to me is things that we may ascribe, some would just ascribe as social or political issues, when on the other hand, those issues have to do with an ongoing denial of the 14th Amendment, as well as issues regarding the 13th Amendment. There are a number of people who say there's no such thing as systemic racism. I would just like to get your thoughts on that whole question and what you see not only as this moment, but how we go forward.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to answer that question, first of all. Yes, there is systemic racism. What I think, I hope, and it sounds like our president is identifying a group to study this whole issue later on our agenda. But one of the things that has to, racism is intolerable, has to be eliminated, period. The big problem I see is trying to find out what organizations and institutions are responsible for that racism. Is it the legislature? Are they responsible? Is the executive branch responsible for it? Is the judiciary responsible for it? Are all of those branches of government responsible for it? We need to identify the sources. That's part of the issue that has to be addressed. To say that there is systemic racism is one thing, but to identify the sources of racism and to try and basically eliminate that systemic problem is something else. I'll just give you one example. It's one that's been bothering me for many, many years, and that is in our criminal arena. I'll just be blunt about it. For some 4 decades, the chant, the mantra was tough on crime, tough on crime, tough on crime. The long-term consequences of that are some things that we're living with today. We over-criminalize. We don't provide enough resources for an adequate defense. All these things need to be addressed. They're part of the problem, in my humble opinion. And we need to identify the sources of this systemic racism and address those sources and find solutions to them. That's about all I want to say.
Okay. And just one other question. I noticed on your resume that I believe you were involved, I think it was a council that looked at hate crimes.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about what your takeaway was from that experience?
Owing to other obligations, I wasn't able to carry through. I was the first chair of the hate crimes task force in Tacoma that was created many, many years ago. We did come out with a number of recommendations. Actually, Lori Jenkins, who's now the Speaker of the House, she became the chair of that organization. And I was privileged and honored to be appointed to that committee by our then mayor, Mayor Viali. And I learned a lot about hate crimes and the impact they have on our society. And we were trying to figure out ways to deal with hate crimes and make sure that there was a meaningful penalty for committing hate crimes.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. And congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Question.
Past President Pickett.
Thanks, Rajiv. Hi, good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Hey, couple of questions. I know, number one, I just want to say, buckle up. And number two, though, here's the more serious question is, what's your vision, Brian, if you could share with us, please, for how this board in particular could take steps to address what we've all agreed is an access to justice crisis, not only in our state, but around the country?
The short answer is money. I don't want to laugh about it, but funding for access to justice programs has to increase, and also publicity. I get asked all the time about resources for programs I know that exist that people are unaware of that exist. The Moderate Means Program, for example. And so then I try to connect them with the Moderate Means Program at our own Tacoma Pierce County Bar Association level. We have a lawyer referral service, for example, that allows people for a very moderate charge to talk to a lawyer for a half hour and get some guidance. And there's all sorts of programs like that need more funding, number one. Number two, they need more publicity so that people know where to go to find a resource to help them in access to justice. But yes, we need more access to justice. Without it, the justice system is, it only serves people who have lots of money, and that's not fair.
Do you envision a push during your presidency to advance more WSBA funds toward that mission? And when I mean mission, access to justice, trying to bridge that gap?
I envision following what the board wants to do, and if they feel that we need to find a way to get more funding into programs that will promote access to justice, the answer is yes.
Okay, and just a couple more questions. On that note, where you're committed to following what the board wants to do, as having sat in that seat, knowing that there's a commitment in our mission to serve the public and the members, how do you envision yourself responding to any situation where you see a desire to elevate the membership over the public, and how would you deal with that situation?
Education. I think it's important for the membership to know what the mission statement of the Bar Association is. By the way, I think we have on our agenda a possible amendment to the mission statement. So it's important to know what the direction of the Bar Association may be in the future. But yes, education is very important to remind the membership of what the mission of the Bar Association is. The other thing I want to say is that I am hoping that during the time that I'm involved in the leadership, we can try and empower members who have basically gone silent. I get emails every once in a while that are very disturbing in the sense that they say things like, I don't even know what the Board of Governors does. I don't even know what's in that magazine that I get every month because I don't read it. I don't do this, I don't do that. They just basically pay their dues and hope that they don't have to worry about a disciplinary action. And there's a lot of members like that. I want to get those members re-involved because they are a huge resource that needs to be brought back in and get involved in our organization on a regular basis.
And then my last question, Brian, is that in terms of serving the public, if you could just let us know, what is your vision for how you specifically as the president of the Bar Association and this board, how can they take really detailed steps, if you could describe as best you can, to elevate and serve the public? Well,
we all have a limited amount of time in our lives. I'm involved in serving the public through my involvement in not only this Bar Association, but the Tacoma-Pierce County Bar Association. And I was going around to all of the bar associations in the 6th District and talking to them on as frequent a basis as I possibly could, given the amount of distance in the different bar associations. And with the COVID, of course, that has unfortunately dried up quite a bit. But serving the public is, for me, what I'm doing right now through my involvement in the Bar Association and my many activities there.
Governor Tollefson, thank you.
Thank you for answering those questions, Rajiv. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Of course. Probably no one on this board except Bill Pickett and myself have an idea about exactly what Brian Tollefson is signing up for. I feel a little bad for anyone who signs up for it, to be honest. Seeing no more hands raised. Oh, Governor Schiketti.
Nope.
Let me get off mute there for a minute. So as the past president-elect who last had to go through this process, it was painful in many respects, and we were all in a room and we all had the chance to see each other, and this is a little different. I don't have so much of a a question for you, Governor Tollefson. One of the things that I took away from that meeting a little more than a year ago was the words that were spoken about the respective candidates. And you'll recall, you were there, that we had 3 excellent candidates for the president last year, all of which would have been ably served, including Governor Stevens, who I hope one day will run again and we see as president of the Bar Association. But the words that the people spoke about and talked and said about the candidates was for me very rewarding, because it's a hard process, and you're going into you'll be the president, and it's a hard job. It's a lot of work, and to get the support of your peers and the folks who are sitting around that table and now are virtually, I think is important. Governor Tollefson and Governor Stevens and Governor Hunter and Governor Sweigel and I all started on the Board of Governors together in 2017. We were all had different ideas about what we wanted to accomplish. We were all bright-eyed and energetic and ready to go. And I remember those days very fondly, that we all worked together. And over the last 3 years, I've had a wonderful opportunity to get to know Governor Tollefson a little bit better. And I think one of the things that I most look forward to working with him as president-elect, and then as president, when I'm immediate past president, is his judicial temperament and his measured ability and knowledge of the legal system, and his ability to get along with folks. I think that was very important these last few years, in which we had some a lot of drama, a lot of pressing issues, and some controversy. And Governor Tollefson was steadfast throughout that. You don't hear a lot from Governor Tollefson. He speaks when he needs to speak. He asks questions when he has questions. He's not the type to want to hear himself talk. I think that is an excellent attribute in a president, one who's going to listen and one who's going to work with the Board of Governors and lead us in that fashion rather than by edict. I think that is a great platform. I think that's a deferential platform, and I think that will lead to much success during his presidency. So I look forward to working with you, Governor Tollefson, and wish you all the best.
Thanks, Kyle.
Seeing no further votes, I'll proceed us to a roll call vote.
Governor Sweigel did raise his hand.
What was that?
Governor Sweigel had his hand up.
Oh, Governor Sweigel.
I just want to say thank you very much, Brian, for stepping up to this important role. I know you'll do a fantastic job. You are very thoughtful, and you're not afraid of dealing with difficult issues, but you listen well, you synthesize information marvelously, and you get along with everyone. So thank you very much for stepping up. You'll be great.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Paul.
Now I shall proceed. Governor Abel.
Aye.
Governor Angelo.
Aye.
Governor Clark.
Aye.
Governor Grabicki.
Aye.
Governor Higginson.
Aye. Sorry.
Governor Hunter. Absent. Governor King. Absent. Governor Knight.
Aye.
Governor McBride.
Aye.
Governor Peterson.
I do.
Governor Schicchetti.
Aye.
Governor Stevens.
Aye.
Governor Sweigel.
Aye.
Governor Tollefson.
Aye.
Very good. I do not have a tie to break. Had I had a tie to break, I too would have voted aye. I would like now to show Governor Tollefson what he's won. This is a special custom edition Rajiv D. Majumdar handcrafted WSBA Bible. You'll see it is extensively tabbed. more extensively.
AKA Book of Tortures.
All the hot issues and problems that have come before me. President-elect Cicchetti also has a copy. There's a few other copies floating around.
Does this have all the double secret rules in it?
There's all the double secret rules, and I'll actually have a couple extra copies. I'll pass on to Governor Cicchetti to pass on whoever follows you, and so on and so forth. I also have been working. I've already shown you my draft of the President-elect manual, and I think Governor Cicchetti will tell you it's important to start getting on those tasks as early as possible. Otherwise, you get the retreat catching up on you and trying to schedule the meetings a year and a half in advance on you very, very quickly. I'm very pleased. It's been an honor to work with you as a fellow governor, and it's been an honor to serve you as a president. And I look forward to your service. I think you have much like in the cut of President-elect Cicchetti. You gentlemen are calm, deep-keeled individuals who aren't as prone to wild antics as myself. Welcome. Congratulations, President-elect, Governor, former Judge Brian Tollefson.
Thank you all very, very much. I'm deeply honored and humbled to take on this responsibility.